Okay, today is October 26th, so this is a lecture for the week, one of the two lectures, the week of October 26th to 29th. And today's lecture so it's part of Module 4, focusing on livestock and deforestation in Brazil, in particularly the Amazon part of Brazil, as a way of illustrating kind of a broader set of challenges of managing agriculture-environment interactions and links through to climate change. So I'm going to share my screen. There's going to be 4 mini lectures in today's session on the Amazon, and then there will be a separate lecture this week again on water. So here we go. So as I said, this is focused on deforestation, particularly cattle and soybeans. So soybeans is sort of another emerging challenge in the Amazon. The first lecture then is sort of background information. Why do we care? The magnitude of the issue, the ups and downs of deforestation in the Amazon. So I'm going to go over this material. Why do we care about the Amazon rainforest? Why is it so important, not just to Brazil, not just to Latin America, but really for the planet? First of all, it's a source of a massive, what's been called a flying river or river in the sky of water that serves economic heartland of Brazil, and other parts of Latin America. And that flying river, so-called, could dry up if the trees are removed from the Amazon. So this is a new, relatively new scientific finding, and we will see that that isn't just an issue for the Amazon, but for other parts of the world. The Amazon also includes 60% of the world's remaining tropical forest. So some of the numbers we saw earlier in the semester indicated that most of the humid primary original tropical forest had been removed. Most of what's left is in the Amazon. The Amazon, because of that, because tropical forests are so rich in biodiversity, the Amazon is the world's largest store of biodiversity, some of which we still don't know very much about. It's also a largest store of land-based or terrestrial carbon. So other than the oceans, it's the largest base of carbon, larger also than the amount of carbon in the atmosphere. Deforestation or removal and change from forest to other non-forest uses is a major source of greenhouse gases, the largest source for Brazil and a major source for the planet. And the Amazon is also, it isn't just a frontier, it's a home, a source of well-being for millions of indigenous people. This is a story simplified about the flying rivers of the Amazon. So you can see kind of starting from evaporation and air movements in the Atlantic Ocean off the east coast of the Amazon, flowing in stream, flowing then into the interior of Brazil, where it is a source, you have that evaporation, then the source of the major growth of all of the vegetation in the Amazon, which transpires, and that transpiration of water from the rainforest then with prevailing winds is pushed down south into places like other countries like Paraguay and Uruguay, and also into the industrial heartland in places like number 4 of Brazil, and then kind of back up into sort of cycling back to the Atlantic. So this big cycle is primarily reliant upon the Amazon as sort of a pump. It's both a user of water and a source of water, and it kind of pumps this system and keeps it going. And without the forest in the Amazon, this system would likely reduce dramatically or disappear. Just a little bit more detail then about that is in terms of numbers, are these flying rivers. So you can see the rainforest, shot of the rainforest there transpiring. So water being emitted by the plants as they grow. That is estimated that's 20 billion tons of water every day that goes into that transpiration into the clouds, which then are moved down into places like Brazil and northern Argentina. And you can see the kind of rainfall there, and you can see that the estimate of 20 billion tons of water per day is greater than the discharge of the Amazon into the Atlantic of 17 billion tons of water per day. So this is the massive Amazon River of carrying about as much water as these flying rivers do through the atmosphere. This flying river phenomena has been described for the Amazon then. You can see that's lower left corner of this diagram, but also for other regions of the world. And so you can see, for example, the Indian Ocean off the east coast of Africa being a source of water that flows over places like Kenya and Democratic Republic of Congo and out through the Sahel. You can see other flying rivers going across India, flying rivers going from east to west across Indonesia, and then large things like we see right from the Atlantic all the way to China. So these large scale atmospheric processes are driven and pumped by the presence of different types of land masses, including very importantly, the Amazon in South America. And so vitally important and a resource which is going up and down and is under large threat. So this is the upper diagram here I'd like to focus mostly on is the annual rate of deforestation. So that's the annual rate at which land is taken out of forest and put into other uses. Not so much about illegal logging, but this is really deforestation rather than forest degradation. Forest degradation can occur when you have logging of big trees and you leave secondary forest. Here we're focused on deforestation, which is this change from forest to some other non-forest use. So you can see the rise of deforestation from about 1990 to about 2004. Over that 14-year period, a very large increase, perhaps about tripling of the rate of annual deforestation. And recognition in the global community that this was a calamity happening with all that we knew about climate change and other environmental effects of the loss of the Amazon, as well as greater awareness within Brazil, some changes in governments in Brazil, and generally a clawing back of all of that deforestation, lower and lower rates of deforestation to about 2012. So I started teaching this class in 2010. So you see we're at relatively low rates of deforestation at that time. And at that time, many of us assumed that there was a general trend toward lower and lower rates of deforestation and making Brazil really one of the most successful countries in the world in reducing its emissions of greenhouse gases that are associated with deforestation. Since 2012, for the last 7 years, there's been an increasing rate of deforestation again, a second kind of wave in a sense of deforestation. And the big question right now is, even with 2020 being higher deforestation than 2019, what's going to happen in the future? Are we going to continue this kind of steep rise that we've seen since 2017, slower rise, more like we've seen throughout since 2012, flattening out, or a decrease? And all of these things are really possible. We don't know how it's going to go. That deforestation is a matter of grave concern, as I said, for many reasons, one of which is the climate the carbon dioxide equivalents, which are emitted through burning and clearing of the vegetation and emissions into the atmosphere. So we can see as a cause of global greenhouse gases, it rivals the greenhouse gases from the economy of the United States. And so we said if deforestation, tropical deforestation was a country, it would be third in overall emissions. Where is that happening? So let's get down closer to the Amazon in Brazil. So here is a map of Brazil outlined in gray, and then the green is so the outline in gray is the Amazon, right, within Brazil. So Brazil is larger, but the gray outlined area in green is all of the area which is described as the legal Amazon. So we've been classified as part of the Amazon River Basin. And you can see where we've had non-forested parts of the Amazon that are dry, that have been cultivated for longer periods. And then we have the forested part is the browns and greens. You can see where the deforestation has happened has been in the areas where we have the most intense browns, mostly to the east of the country and the east of the Amazon basin, but also to the south and then sneaking in other places. We have Amazon deforestation is often associated with this herringbone, what's called a herringbone pattern. So you can see the strips. So this is partly because of the effect of roads coming in and deforestation on either side of the road. And it's partly due to the regulations in Brazil that if you clear a plot of land, a forest, you should leave, the percentages varied from time to time, but you should leave a certain part of that plot to be forested. So you can see that that happens at the beginning, and then as you see in the right corner, the right-hand frame, some of it then sort of gradually disappears as farmers encroach further and further into that kind of the forest reserve that they have on their individual farms, to the point where it's really cleared out. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there and then come back and talk more about the links between deforestation and agriculture.